Hello again, and welcome to the first video in the second series of onboarding videos for Workshop Software Gold and Silver customers. In today's session, what we're going to cover are the management of suppliers, how do you do automotive integrations, and how to integrate your supplier invoices through the Capricorn Payment system. So let's get started. On the left-hand side, you'll see that you have the access to the table for the suppliers. And here's a list of pre-existing suppliers. What we're going to do is add a new one. And this is going to be Mainline Exhaust Systems. We would recommend that you do put in all the contact details for your suppliers. It just maintains a nice, clean workshop software file. But if you are really pressed for time and you don't feel the particular requirement to do that, then at least put in the payment terms for your supplier. This is going to be very important for you being able to assess exactly how much money you owe over what period. And so what I'm going to do is click on 30 days as the payment terms for Mainline Exhaust. All right. Again, we do recommend that you actually do put in a telephone number. So if I came in and did that, I would then have a telephone number for a supplier. There we go. And that will work. And now we will save that. If, by the way, you do also have a primary salesperson that you deal with at that supplier, and you'd like to also like to maintain contact with the accounts person for that particular company, then you can put the accounts person in here, all right, along with their position and their email address, as well as your primary contact who you would have up in here. All right, so we'll save that for the moment. That is how you enter a supplier. And in there, we've got the primary bits of information, name of the company, right, and the payment terms for that supplier. Entering suppliers is really no more difficult than that. And what I'd like to do right now is cover how you would manage the Capricorn process. So you would set up Capricorn in your system as a supplier. And if we come and look into this record, we will see that the primary difference between the Capricorn record and any other record is that they are a biller. Whereas if I come back here and I look at another supplier, for example, Burson, we will see that they are a non-biller and that the biller for Burson is actually the Capricorn Society. So if I come back into Capricorn Society for a moment, again, the most important thing to put in is the payment terms. For most workshops, the payment terms with their Capricorn account are going to be 30 days after end of month. Again, we would reiterate that it's probably a very good idea to maintain the contacts that you have with Capricorn, all right, but absolutely not critical. So if we save that and we go over to our new supplier that we entered just now, which was Mainline Exhaust Systems, as it turns out, we can pay them through Capricorn. So what we do is we maintain that they are a non-biller, Mainline Exhaust Systems, and in here, in the biller field, we simply type in Capricorn. It finds the Capricorn record, Capricorn Society Proprietary Limited. We click on that, and now Mainline Exhaust Systems is linked directly to Capricorn Society. Again, the payment terms, all right, because we're paying Mainline through Capricorn, they would be the same payment terms as your Capricorn account. In this case, 30 days after end of month. Once again, we save that record. Now, if we enter a supplier invoice, for example, for Mainline Exhaust Systems, it can be as simple as coming in here and entering a supplier invoice. So I come in there, I find the supplier I'd like to put an invoice in for. That would be Mainline Exhaust. The next thing I need to do is to put in my invoice number from Mainline. I'm going to go 321654. And because I put the payment terms for Mainline in their record, they will come up automatically every time that I enter an invoice for Mainline. As we can see here, it is an invoice from Mainline. And if I ever received a credit note from Mainline themselves, I would enter it as a credit note here. One thing to remember is if you are entering a credit note, Please remember to always put every item in the credit note in as a positive number. It does not need to be a negative number. Workshop software will know that it is a credit note. So I'm going to continue with the invoice. I'm going to come in here and enter a brand new part into the system. So if I come and I go CDC, and I may turn around and have a description. As you can see, Workshop software cannot find an 897 CDC in the product file. So I now need to come in here and go add products. There's my item code from the supplier, and I come in here and go, it's an X14 tailpipe assembly. So there I have my description. This is the description which will appear on my customer invoices. And I may choose to put that into a product group. I may put that in as perhaps an accessory. And in here, what I need to do is put in either the cost excluding tax or the cost including tax, depending on how my supplier invoice is laid out. So I'm going to come in here and go that this assembly costs $654.24. And as you can see, Workshop software automatically calculates the excluding price. If I were to enter an excluding price in here and go that it was $615, you can see that Workshop software will also come in and calculate the including price. Now, I do have a choice. I can put in the retail price here, or another feature of Workshop software is as follows. If I simply put in the cost, right, then it tells me that yes, it's $676.50. I have bought one. And in here on the dollar sign on this line, I can actually now turn around and go, I'd like to mark up that product by, let's say, 45%, right? That allows me to put in a percentage sign, and this will automatically calculate from the cost price. It will calculate a 45% markup, which would be $980.93. Conversely, I can come in here, and if I want to simply mark it up to $840, then it will tell me that my markup is 24%, 24.17%, and the new retail price would be $840. So, as mentioned, you have the choice of either putting in a price, which is marked up, or you can put in a markup percentage if you prefer. The system will ask you if you'd like to update the retail price, and you'll simply go yes. In the instance where you have an existing part in the system and you wish, and the price has been changed, and generally that will be a price increase, you can come in here. You will have the old cost, then you would have the new cost, and then you could mark up as per whatever percentage you like or whatever price you'd like. So that is how you cover up, ensuring that whenever your prices get raised from your suppliers, then you can guarantee that you maintain your markup percentage. All right, so we're going to save that. That's fine. If I come in here and go $845, as I said, there we go. There it is. Do I want to update the retail price? Yes, I do. Now, every time that I put this onto a supplier invoice, it will show me that I last paid $676.50 and my new price is $845. So if this is our invoice in its totality, I can simply come in here. If there are no freight charges, I don't need to worry about this. If I do have a slight difference because Workshop software rounds out to 4 decimal places, and I do have an invoice difference, right, I can come in here and make either a small increase to the invoice price, right, or a small decrease, for example. And there I have it. Okay. If there is no change, I simply leave that the way that it was. If I do have a freight charge from the supplier, I can actually come in here and put in the freight charge there. So I'm going to save this invoice. Now it's been saved, right? That has not posted to my accounting system yet, and it is not posted to Workshop software. In order for it to post and update my inventory by 1, I need to simply come in here and process the invoice. This always asks me whether or not I'm very happy with the content of this invoice, and I go simply yes. And that is how you will manage your supplier invoices in the instance where you do actually have to come in and put in the part numbers because you don't have an automotive integration. What I'm about to show you now is how you would process, for example, a Capricorn payment. So if I come into the primary navigation key up here, the plus sign, I can come in and do a supplier payment to Capricorn. So at the end of the month, I will have received my Capricorn statement, and that will have either have arrived by mail or that will have arrived by email. And I now have to ensure that all of the invoices which were on my Capricorn statement are also included in my payment from Workshop Software. By processing the payments for those invoices, I will be able to close all of my supplier invoices that are on that Capricorn statement so that it will then reconcile with the Capricorn payment that was deducted from my check account. So I come in here, I enter Capricorn. There's my Capricorn Society card. The next thing that I need to do is make sure the posting date is correct. This date should be the date on which the Capricorn payment was taken from your bank account. So in this particular instance, if we were doing June, for example, it would probably be on June 30th. The next thing I need to do is I need to find all the invoices that are actually on my Capricorn statement. So I simply click on the magnifying glass, and I can see here that I have invoices from Mainline Exhaust Systems. So I simply click on that. I select that. There's my invoice from Mainline. And I may have multiple invoices from any given supplier. I may have 30, 40 in some instances. So in this particular instance, we have one invoice. So I come in here and I go, great, that's the invoice value. Everything is correct. That's the invoice number, the invoice date, the company, and the balance due on the invoice. Add my next supplier. I may have Brisson's Auto Parts. And I come in, I want to pay these two invoices as well. And as you can see, it simply aggregates them and adds them to the payment itself. So we can now see that I now owe $781.88. Come in here again, see if we have any invoices. No invoices for John's Wrecking Yard, no problem. Now, if I proceed to go about and process this payment, right, it will go into Workshop Software and close all of these invoices. In the scenario where I have linked my Workshop Software file to an accounting system, it will also go in there and close all the invoices in the accounting file as well. All right, so that avoids the possibility of double handling. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to leave that. I'm going to cancel this payment. And what I would like to do is talk to you now about automotive integrations. One of the key features of Workshop Software is that you have the ability to integrate with many of the mainline, this is for the Australian and New Zealand marketplace. You have the ability to integrate with a lot of the main aftermarket automotive suppliers. So you will find a list of automotive integrations available in here under integrations on the left-hand side. And these are the list of available integrations that you can have. So the most common ones tend to be Repco and Burson, and also Ashdown Ingham, which is now known as Napa. So if I come into Repco, for example, and I say you'll see that it's not activated. I'd like to activate the Repco integration. It asks me if I am sure. I click on yes. In here, you will need to put in the details which you would have for your Navigator Pro account with Repco. So that will be your site code. It will be your account number with Repco, the suffix, which is generally 0001. All right. Nothing is necessarily required in here. And then also your Navigator Pro login details. So that is quite often tends to be admin. And then whatever your password is, and you'll need to enter the password twice, right? When you're confirming the password, this cell will go red until such time as the passwords match, and then it will put a mask across the password here so that nobody can hack your password. The Repco also does have a very, very interesting feature, which is called auto download invoices. And if we click on that, what it will do is when you make a purchase from Repco, the invoices will automatically be downloaded into your supplier Repco record in Workshop Software. And all that you need to do then is to simply go over to the Repco record, go down to the invoices, open up all the invoices which will appear in the file, and then simply process them. It gives you the ability to actually double check the invoice, make sure you've received all the parts that you ordered, and make sure that the invoice balance is correct. Now, To work with auto download invoices, what you will need to do is to activate this. And you do that simply by coming into the Help Guides and Resources, which is up here, a little question mark icon in the top right-hand corner. We click on that. And then we type in here, Repco Automatic. How to activate Repco's automatic invoice feature. We come in there, and there's a whole article on how the Repco automatic integration works. What you simply do is you come down to section 4, right? There's the email address the email needs to be sent to. There's the subject matter of the invoice, of the email, I should say. And here's the body of the email. So simply you just copy all of this, paste it into an email, put in your company name, your Repco account number, and your contact details. We also strongly advise that you also put into the email that you would like them to notify you when this has actually been activated. That is how you do the Repco automatic invoicing. Now, I'm going to close that. If we go back down to another integration, I'm going to come into Burson. Burson is very much the same. The fields are slightly different. What you will need to do is you will need to have your site code from Easy Parts, your terminal ID, and then you will need to make a choice as to which of these pricing options you would like to be applicable to your Easy Parts integration. And then you save that. And that is how you work with your integrations. Napa is very much the same thing, as well as any of the other integrations such as HSY, Oscar, ProLink, etc. Right. If you have any questions about this, please come up into the user guides and resources. All right. And look up the particular integration that you're interested in. And that will give you information which you need to actually get that all happening. So that brings us to the end of this particular video. I'd like to thank you very much for listening to that. Please don't forget, your help guides and resources are always a very, very good source of where you can actually get the information that you're looking for.